Power doesn't always win. Armies don't always decide outcomes. And numbers can be misleading, because history has already proven something most people ignore. Strategy beats strength, and no story proves that better than Salahuddin. A man who didn't just face an empire, he dismantled it, but not the way you think, not through reckless force, not through blind aggression, through discipline, patience, and precision. Because while others rushed into battle, he studied it. While others reacted, he prepared, and that difference changed everything. When you hear about victories, you imagine intensity, clashing swords, loud commands, immediate action. But what you don't see is the restraint behind it, because real strategy is not loud. It's calculated, it's controlled, it's built long before the battle even begins. And that's where Salahuddin was different. He didn't chase quick wins, he built long-term advantage. He unified fractured regions, strengthened internal stability, rebuilt discipline among his people, because he understood something critical. You can't defeat an external enemy if you're divided internally. And that's where most fail. They focus on the opponent, but ignore their own condition. He didn't make that mistake. He fixed the foundation first, because without that, victory doesn't last. Then came the moment everyone remembers, the confrontation. Not just between armies, but between two completely different mindsets. On one side, power built on control and dominance. On the other, strategy built on patience and clarity. And here's what most people overlook. He didn't rush into it. He didn't let emotion dictate action. He waited, positioned, observed. Because timing is part of strategy. Move too early. You weaken yourself. Move too late. You lose opportunity. But move at the right moment, and everything shifts. And that's exactly what happened. The Battle of Hattin. Not just a clash, a turning point. Because the victory didn't come from strength alone. It came from preparation, from understanding terrain, from controlling resources, from limiting the enemy's options. He didn't just fight the army, he controlled the situation. And when you control the situation, you control the outcome. That's strategy. But here's where it gets deeper. Victory didn't change him. Because most people, once they gain power, they shift. Ego rises, discipline fades, purpose gets lost. But not him. When Jerusalem was finally reclaimed, he didn't seek revenge, didn't mirror cruelty, didn't let emotion take over. He showed restraint, mercy, control, and that's something most people misunderstand. They think strength is domination, but real strength is control. Control over your actions, your reactions, your decisions, even when you have the power to do otherwise. And that's what made him different. Not just a leader in battle, but a leader in character. Because strategy without character is dangerous. But strategy with discipline creates lasting impact. Now bring it back to you. Because this isn't just history. It's a pattern, a principle. You don't lose because you lack strength. You lose because you lack direction. You react too quickly. You move without thinking. You chase outcomes without building foundations. And that leads to failure, not because you're incapable, but because you're unprepared. So the question is, where in your life are you acting without strategy? Where are you reacting instead of planning? Where are you focusing on results instead of preparation? Because that's where your shift needs to happen, not in doing more, but in thinking better, planning better, acting with intention. Because the difference between struggle and success is often not effort, it's strategy. And once you understand that, everything changes. You become more patient, more focused, more effective, just like Salahuddin. So don't just admire the victory, understand what created it, because the same principles still work today. If this changed your perspective, subscribe, because the next video might change how you approach everything.